All right, good morning. This is a second part of that other video that I made. It's still um what is it? Yeah, January 21st, 2025. It's Tuesday. So back to what I was saying about this stuff about, and I guess I'm going to go, do this partly video in the not in the dark, but so this gang stalking and targeted individual stuff, they want to throw you off your path. They have all these people, flying monkeys to distract you and to manipulate you and harass you and all that kind of stuff. And it's become such a fucking horrendous thing. And as I've talked about before, as soon as my relative, my supposed uncle died, which I think he's my biological father, in February of 2023, I got that call about his death, about his, having passed away on February 6th. I'll never forget, is when I got the call from this sibling brother of mine that my uncle had passed away. It was on the 6th that I got that phone call. He had died on the 3rd. Okay, and I remember it was the 6th of February that this Carter Baldwin, my narcissistic half-sibling, called me on that day and started harassing me. Oh, you're gonna have to pay for the cremation, and you're gonna just chewing me out immediately and getting mad at me about stuff that was like, where is all this coming from? You're calling me to let me know that Alan passed away, and you're pissed off at me, okay? And it didn't make any sense. I was like, what in the fuck is going on here? And so then from there, he just started getting really, really abusive more and more psychologically with me. Just like they did when I first moved to San Antonio in 2016. My mother and brother both trying to control me. And he, and exploiting me. And I guarantee you that the two of them, my mother and her son, are the two main perpetrators of all this stuff in my life, and Bob Sussman, who's passed away. And I know that for a fact, that those three people are involved directly with all this stuff. And it did happen starting in 1996, I guess it was, when I met that man, Walter Schutze, in Austin. So it's all very coordinated, and it makes me wonder, who is Walter Schutze? Am I related to him by blood? Is Kenny related to him? Is Bob Sussman the father of Carter Baldwin? And why is it that he got so involved with my mother as soon as I got out of college in Austin in 1999? And Bob Sussman, the criminal defense attorney, Jewish man, Robert J. Sussman, enters a picture. Why is that? And you see all the dots that I've connected over the years, how it's all coordinated. And it definitely has to do with Bob Sussman. It definitely has to do with that man, Walter Schutze, who was an ex-military CIA man who died in 1999 in Austin. It definitely has to do with him. And it definitely has to do with Carter Baldwin, my brother, and Kenny Baldwin, for sure. It's obvious. I know that. And they are trying so hard to keep me from knowing the truth. But I keep figuring things out more and more. The pieces all come together, the little hints and clues that I've been able to document over the years and figure out. And so the more I know, the more I find out, the more I figure stuff out, the more I get punished and ostracized and gang stalked and basically tortured, gaslit. And this is all facts. These are all facts. So there's clearly money involved. I suppose some kind of inheritance, some kind of probably like insurance money or something, of which I was a beneficiary of, that they don't want me to know about, that there was some kind of a battle, legal battle that went on behind my back, without my consent or knowledge, because they wanted to portray me as being some kind of a drug addict or druggie or somebody who was mentally ill and unstable, so as to not have my money. And that's how this happens. That's what this happens to people all the time, that it's a severe form of narcissistic abuse. And whenever this happens, you're going to find out You're going to start seeing the patterns in your life and trying to figure out why, and you're going to realize that, okay, I saw a psychiatrist in this year, this happened, that happened, and you're going to be able to draw all the dots, connect the dots eventually, okay? It takes time. With me, it's been more than 25 years, a process of my starting in 1999 when all this shit really started. 1996 when I met that man, but really, so that means it's been how many years now? Let's see, 1996, and now it's 2025 that this has been going on. The gang stalking, the surveillance, the harassment, my having signed those contracts in Austin, those entertainment release forms, the stuff that happened to me in Los Angeles. You see, in my life, I can see the pattern. And they can call me crazy. They can call me delusional, schizophrenic, borderline, whatever. I don't care. The labels don't mean a fucking thing to me because I see it for what it is. I say they, and I mean the fucking flying monkeys and gang stalker people that they sent by the fucking government to do this shit with me, think that I'm that stupid. They think that I think they figured out now that I know what's going on. And that they have to fucking cover their asses because they see that I'm way smarter than they ever gave me credit for. They assume by now I'd have been dead or locked away in some mental hospital or a prison, most likely. Because most people would not be able to survive these kinds of things as long as I have. This mental torture, abuse, that most people wouldn't be able to handle it unless you're very strong-willed and emotionally intelligent and observant and have a lot of faith in your God and self, that most people honestly wouldn't have been able to survive this long, and they know that. They know that. And the agenda of a targeted person is to have you killed, either by, you committing suicide, which is what they really want, so that they can write it off as you are, crazy and, whatever, or they kill you. They assassinate you. They have a paid assassin to kill you. This really does happen. It really does, and people don't want to believe that this kind of stuff is real, but they'll hire a hitman. They'll hire somebody to fucking kill you and destroy you in a minute when it comes to money and disputes over inheritances. Don't think this stuff is not real. I'm here to testify to you people, and I'm being 100% honest and upfront that this is real. I'm not lying. I have nothing to hide. I'm very transparent. For the people who know me, they know that I don't fuck around, that I'm very direct and honest. And so if you don't want to believe me, and if you want to discredit me and call me delusional or that I'm what, you can go ahead and think whatever you want, but I have the evidence. I do have evidence of what's happening to me, and I do have the mental clarity, and I also have documented all this shit, documented everything. Pretty much I had made all those videos, I had documented recordings on a little tape recorder. I have documented so much. Yet I'm still being illegally surveilled and gang stalked in this house. No privacy rights, no my character assassination, identity theft, financial abuse, psychological abuse, gaslighting, you name it, I've gone through it all and survived it all. Abuse, sexual exploitation, all of that stuff, gang stalked, racial, everything. But I'm okay. I'm alive, I'm okay, I'm breathing, so I'm okay, right? Maybe I don't look so great, but I'm okay, I'm alive. I'm 50 years old now, I'm not 25, If my life would have taken a different course had I stayed in New Mexico, right? If I would have just stayed in New Mexico, I'm sure things would have been different. Had I never gone to Austin, Texas, I'm sure that who knows where I'd be now or what would have happened to me. I don't know. But here I am, still trying, doing the best I can, and despite the shit that they've thrown in my path to deter me. But anyway, back to this weird stuff. So I noticed that this person I've been involved with for the past, 2 years now almost, who had contacted me on that Plenty of Fish dating site, when all this stuff with my dead uncle happened, or dead father, Alan Baldwin in Kerrville, and the harassment from the sibling and the abuses of these people. Well, funny that he starts a new job, and I was just thinking about this the other day because I'd asked him, when did you start your job at this Saks Fifth Avenue? In Saks Fifth Avenue, okay, in San Antonio, it's an upscale department store that's owned by, I suppose, Jewish people, most likely, I believe. I suppose it started in New York, I think. So they're Jewish company, right? I'm pretty sure. And so, of course, Bob Sussman, the man my mother was married to, who died in 2009, who died in the plane on his way back from Jordan, had a heart attack. Well, he was Jewish, and his family owned a department store called Battlestein's. And his father, I think, or his mother, his father, or somebody in his family, maybe it was his mother, I forget which one, committed suicide. I think it was his father. I'm not 100% sure. Somebody in his family, and he was an alcoholic. His son's an alcoholic, had alcohol issues as well in Austin, but whatever. I'm not saying they're bad people. People fuck up and do bad things. It doesn't mean they're bad. It means that the demons who took over them are bad, but it doesn't necessarily, you know what I mean? People make mistakes and do things that are under the influence of demonic influence. It doesn't mean they're bad people. Just bad things happen to people, good people or whatever, So whatever. So they had owned a department store called Battlestein's. His family in Houston. They're a prominent Jewish family, I guess. That's a man that my mother married in whatever year. They got married around 2005 or something. And they had that property in Hunt, Texas. Bob Sussman all of a sudden tried to kind of take over my life. He was very... Don't want to get all into the details about that man right now because he's dead. It's gone. He's gone. But my mother had quite an obsession, kind of weird relationship with that man. And I still to this day think that maybe from the way he looks and the way the sibling of mine looks, this half sibling, that maybe they're related, that's his father. They talk. That's what I think. Is that Carter is related to Bob Sussman, that's his father, and my mother either was already pregnant when she met my father, Ben, my alleged father, Ben Baldwin, and she somehow, I don't know, but there's something that just doesn't add up, because I know that Ben Baldwin is not Carter's father. I know that Ben Baldwin, my supposed father who died in 2004, Ben Armistead Baldwin Jr., is not the biological father of Carter Baldwin. He could possibly be my biological father. There's a possibility. But he is not Carter's father at all. It's obvious. He doesn't look, you can tell. It's obvious. Very obvious that we have a different father. I look a lot like Violet Hill Baldwin on that side of the family. I don't really look much like my mother's side. I don't really know what's up with that. Supposedly she's my mother. But I still sometimes feel like my Aunt Gwen is my mother. And that they did some kind of weird... No, I mean, but I don't... it's just weird. And Kenny's my mother, supposedly, but we don't really get along. We don't see eye to eye. I don't have much of a relationship with her. And because of the dishonesty and the lies and the fact that she has been dishonest with me. As an adult, I deserve to know the truth, and she should know that I'm mature enough to know what's going on. So I feel like the deception, the betrayal of that kind of trauma, abuse, is why we're never gonna be like, very, it's just gonna always be a relationship that's like kind of superficial, And so I don't like being I don't think no one likes being lied to. Nobody enjoys being fucking lied to. I don't care if you're a 10-year-old, a 50-year-old, a 90-year-old. Nobody needs or wants to be fucking lied to, because mental abuse and gaslighting is a form of abuse and torture, a narcissistic abuse. And I have gone through enough of this shit. So, of course, went back to that whole thing with this. So I meet this man Ironically enough, he starts his job at Saks Fifth Avenue on February 6th, the same day that I get the call from this half sibling that my my uncle died in Kerrville. Is that a coincidence or no? Is it a coincidence? And so he gets all involved, seems to be pursuing me very actively after finding me on a Plenty of Fish website, dating site. And so that was all, I felt like, okay, and that was the same time that I've been going through all this legal thing, probate battle with Kerr County courts in Kerrville, P23-107 court case, and Melinda Luna was appointed by the judge Robert Kelly to be my attorney ad litem. Now, who is this man, Luis? I won't say his last name right now. Louis is how he spells his name. And why did he take such an interest in me? And who is he really? Working for the government? Is he working for some kind of private security with a cover job at Saks Fifth Avenue? I mean, I know he says he works in the sales, but is that all he does there? You see why I have all these questions? Because he behaves the way he does and the way he's manipulative and lies a lot, or, is narcissistic in a way, because I've called him out for his stuff and I've seen through his facade and mask. And so his transparency, he tries to not be transparent with me, but I can see through that shit. The lies of the whatever it is that he's doing, or who's paying him to do this. And I believe that he was most likely contracted by somebody, I don't know who exactly, to fuck with me and torture me to get me discredited. He might be working with them, trying to pose as a friend, but he's really like an enemy who wants me destroyed because of, I don't know, it's weird with the whole thing. I really don't know, because people who try to remain mysterious and keep secrets are people who are not on your side. They don't have your best interest. They'll act like they do. They'll say they do, but really deep down they don't. They have a resentment towards you. And that's how it feels with him a lot of the time. It's like a push-pull, evaluation, discard, love bombing, reevaluation, shit like that the narcissistic people do to keep you locked into their web of deceit and betrayal. Because ultimately these kinds of relationships with a narcissistic individual who's probably a psychopath, primary psychopath, because of his background with his own family and mother issues and daddy, and things of his past that are kind of make him who he is. And so you see all these things, and you can work with these people and be in a relationship with them, but they don't really ever, because you know that you're being lied to, and they lie to you so much and manipulate and gaslight, because that's what they do. It's very difficult to trust them because they just cannot be honest. And they do so many mean fucking things that are so deceptive and condescending forms of gaslighting and psychological abuse to target your appearance, your confidence, your abilities, your finances, all that they do very subtly but very blatant when you know what's going on and you're educated about these kinds of tactics that these kinds of people use. They're usually involved with law enforcement or the government or some kind of something where they feel that they have a hold on you. They feel that they're above you. They feel that they are better than you. And, I've talked about certain kinds of individuals who I don't like, and a lot of my stuff that I talk about are black people because I don't like, for whatever reason, they kind of get under my skin, and I don't have much of a trust towards them after my years of being tortured and abused in high school and middle school by black girls trying to beat me up in the fucking locker room, or black people trying to exploit me financially, like that Bobby White security dude, whatever the fuck, ex-cop in Longview that I got involved, that I tried to get at work with. I mean, I've just been exploited and taken advantage of by a lot of people, but when it comes to these black people, for whatever reason, and yesterday happened to be Martin Luther King Day, by the way, and all this weird shit happened yesterday. I got a visit from this guy, this narcissist man I've been kind of involved with whatever on a superficial level. I mean, and just how it happens that my aunt had her knee surgery, and I get a call. Like, all these things, I do it to fucking coordinate. It's all so fucking coordinated, right? And then so Pamela Ray King, who was the sibling's attorney in Kerrville with this whole probate thing. Number one, I'm not black. I'm not an African American, okay? I don't know why the theme with all this black shit, African American, is so prevalent in my life. Just because perhaps my grandfather, Pops, on my dad's side, was in the military, in the army, and I believe that he had something to do working with, when he was a general or sergeant, whatever the fuck his position was in the U.S. Army, pardon my language, when he was stationed in, what was it, Carmel, California, or something. He was in charge of a lot of black soldiers on a boat, a ship or something. That much I know. I don't know much else. And then I know that he went to work for Uncle Ben's Rice in Houston, and he traveled all over the place and promoting Uncle Ben's Rice all over Europe, all over India, China. He spent a lot of time traveling. He was like a traveling salesman type person, but he was a president of, or a vice president of Uncle Ben's Rice. Maybe the president or vice president of Uncle Ben's Rice, the rice company. And I don't know what his affiliation was with black people exactly, but they did spend time in Africa. I know because I've seen photos in my photo album that I have that he and Peaches went on some safaris, and there's photos of them with little black kids in Africa. And they always were really into tennis and sports. Just mostly tennis. They're very athletic kind of people and very much into that kind of fitness thing. And my dad Ben was like a cheerleader, football player, and Alan, they're all very active military type people, very, athletically inclined, sports-minded people, which is mostly tennis. Was Pops's and Peach's thing was tennis. They played tennis, very much into that, and I played it for a while. I was never very good at it. But I'm just saying it's weird. I'm just trying to figure out it because I still don't know everything about why there's all these connections with his black, whatever he did with black people or African Americans or in the army or in Africa when he went there with Uncle Ben's Rice. I do not know exactly. I do believe that they were maybe affiliated with Freemasons or some kind of Masonic stuff. I don't know for sure, but I believe that they were. But they were also religious, like Episcopalian, or, I don't know I don't know everything about Pops or Peaches. Peaches, I know on my dad's side was, her last name, her maiden name was Schaller, Schaller, or Alle, or Schaller, which is German. She was Bavarian. Her family was Bavarian, old Germany, and I don't know. So they came over and settled in, like, Missouri, and then Waco, Texas. But the Schaller Lumber Company out of St. Louis, Missouri, was her family's company. Or I guess it was her grandparents started that or something like that. But it's called Schaller Lumber, and they're based out of St. Louis, and that was my grandmother, Violet Peaches Baldwin, Violet Hill Baldwin. Her name was Violet Hill Schaller, maiden name, and then Violet Hill Baldwin. That was their business, her family. So my they got married, and then from there, whatever. So she's my dad's side. On my dad's side, that's my grandmother Peaches, who I was very close to. And I was, so I was pretty close with her, Violet. Yes, we were close, my grandmother and I, very much so on my dad's side. On my mom's side, I was close to Mimi, Evelyn, not so much, but yes, in a way, yeah. She picked me up from school all the time. She had an alcohol issue. But we got along, and, we were fairly close. We had a weird relationship, but still, she was my grandmother. and I liked her, and she could be funny, but she could be really mean and sassy with me, but still, you know, Mimi was Evelyn Griffith was my grandmother on my mom's side. And then my great-grandmother was Lita Bess Griffith. That was Evelyn's husband, was Kenneth McGuire. Kenneth Griffith, I mean. Not McGuire. McGuire was her maiden name. But Kenneth Griffith, who was the World War II fighter pilot who died in World War II, supposedly over Germany in 19... I guess he died around 1944, 45, I don't know, but my mother supposedly never knew him, so I don't know, is that really her biological father, since he was supposedly in Germany? Did Mimi have an affair with somebody? Did Mimi have an affair with Walter Schutze in Austin, and that's how this is all connected? You see, I don't know. To me, it all kind of makes sense when I kind of see the history and the patterns of things that have happened to me throughout my life and people who have come into my life for whatever reason, and I try to, like, connect the dots. So, I don't know. But I know that, like, I've been gaslit a lot and lied to. And so, anyway, so yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. The charming, Mexican Chicano man who's got some, whatever comes back and kind of back to the love bombing phase of this whole chaotic situation of idealizing you. What they do is they put you on the fucking pedestal, they knock you down, but as soon as you're independent and doing well and trying to do well for yourself, they come back to do their love bombing, you're such a admiration shit, and giving you some gifts, and you're like, why are they doing this all of a sudden? They treat you like shit. They ghost you for a couple fucking weeks when you threaten them, telling them you're gonna call the police if they don't fucking stop harassing you after you blocked them and they're stalking you and harassing you by coming to your house. And then you say you're gonna call the fucking police and you try to get help. Then all of a sudden they show up again, calling you after you unblock them and after I fucking re-put my videos on YouTube after I had them on private, then I put them on public, and then all of a sudden he calls again. Oh, I miss you. I've been, but that was after 2 weeks of not hearing from him, so that's called ghosting, and that means that he was with someone else. You see? Duh. But what it is, so I'm just saying, I know how this stuff works, and so he comes over the other day, shows up, he begged to come, I allowed him to come over and visit. I was like, okay, whatever, let's just try to make this cordial, and it's clear that this is all fucking set up, and that there's something that ulterior motive of my being exploited, or his wanting something from me, punishing me, revenge, what they do. And so he shows up, he has a gift. It's like he had given me that other gift, I gave it back, right? I put it back in the wrong yard. I put it in the wrong fucking yard. I threw it back in a white trash bag. And I told him about it. I said, yeah, gave it back to you. I drove over to your house one day and I fucking threw it back in your yard because I didn't want it. I was like, I don't want to accept your gifts anymore. Because he was making me feel guilty or trying to like fucking gaslight me. So I put it back. And he says he never got it. I'm like, whatever. I know I put it in the right yard. It was a yard that had a Trump, some kind of banner in the yard, as well as like some kind of a Dig Texas Lone Star thing. And I put it in that yard. When I gave the jacket back that he gave me, this puffer jacket thing, this fluorescent kind of pink coat that he said he got at Academy, as well as a bag and some blankets. And I was like, I just gave it back to him. No big deal. I just wanted him to have it back. His mother or whoever. So they could sell it in a garage sale, or he could do what he wants with it. So he says he never got it back. I'm like, okay, well, all right, that's weird. Because I had looked up online, and that's the address that it said he lived at. So that's where I put it, in that yard. Just tossed over the fence. That was like, I don't know, a ways back. And so then I see him the other day, yesterday. He shows up with some gifts. He's like, he's been telling me for like a week that he got me some lingerie. It Saks Fifth Avenue or so. He ordered online some lingerie. I'm like, no, because the other lingerie he'd gotten me actually got stolen out of this house. They had to come into my house. They cut holes in my undergarments. They have come into this house over and over again and stolen my shit. And for whatever reason, these perverts that gang stalk and invade your home and whatnot, they steal with women, they like to take your panties and bras and they'll cut holes in them sometimes. They used to do this to me a lot. Or they'll just steal shit like that to let you know they've been in your house. And so he had given me something at one point and it was gone. I looked everywhere for it. They stole it. Somebody did. Is some lingerie that he had gotten me supposedly from Saks Fifth Avenue that got stolen. It was this green. It was a pretty green color, actually. Got stolen. Like, whatever. So then he's like, so he shows up the other day, and he's like a bag, an express bag, right? Here's a bag, express, okay? This is just funny. He comes over with a Whataburger coffee, hot coffee from Whataburger, a chicken sandwich that he's eating as I'm in my area over there, my office / makeup, vanity area. And, that's my privacy. It's like my space, okay? And he's sitting there, and it's like, okay, I'm trying to watch some YouTube videos. I'm trying to educate him about some stuff, talk about things, have a conversation. And he's just so busy touching me and feeling me. I'm like, just stop it. Just stop. Let's have a conversation. Just keep your hands off me. But he can't. He says he can't keep his hands off me when he sees me. He can't. I'm like, why? What is it about me that he's like, I'm just so attracted to you. I can't help it. I'm like, well, why? I'm not all that. There's other women. What is it about me? And it's almost like he's fucking with my head to gaslight me in a way, because at the same time that he says like he's really attracted to me, he's also dragging me down and exploiting me and making me feel bad about myself in very subtle ways. You know how they do. These people, what they do, these narcissistic, psychopathic type men who are controlling and sexist. This is what they do. And I'm speaking from my experience. So it's like it's flattering, all that attention, but at the same time, it's something's not right. There's something off, right? You feel like at the same time you feel flattered, but you know that it's all fucking set up, that he's doing this. He sent flying monkeys to fuck with me. On the dating sites, it's always like these people are all coordinated. So they want to destroy you. Ultimately, what I'm telling you about these narcissistic men in your life, when you're a female who's smart and independent and maybe financially secure, a lot of times they're jealous or envious. They want to destroy you because they want to one-up on you. They want to control over your assets, your identity, your life, everything, your personality. And they want to make sure that you're always below them because they're controlling, manipulative, controlling, narcissistic. Okay, they have qualities that are charming and other things, but deep down to the core, they're psychopathic, narcissistic people who have a lot of unresolved issues and trauma that they love to project and take out on whoever they're involved with. Because a lot of the times their marriages went bad, they ended in bad ways, and so they assume that now they have a lot of anger issues and they're going to just take it out on you. Because you're an easy target, because they know that you're trustworthy, you're reliable, you're honest, you're transparent. And these are qualities that most people don't have nowadays, okay? And I happen to be a person who's very flawed, but very transparent and honest and direct. And that is something that these people love to target and exploit. And that's a fact. So he shows up, and right before he shows up, he's calling me. At the same time he's calling me, I get a text from my cousin saying that my cousin Chip, and here's a text message, and I'm documenting all this stuff because I have to. He says, I deleted my messages, but he said, are you freezing over there? And this is my cousin Chip. He's like, are you freezing cold over there? And then I just called him really fast and had a conversation with him, and about the cold. And he's like, yeah, when I lived there, it was so cold, all the pipes burst, and and the heat, and there's blackouts and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah. We talked for a few minutes, and then I said, well, how's Gwen? And he said, well, she's in the hospital. She had her knee surgery, and I'm just about to go over there. I said, what hospital? He said, Stone Oak. And of course, I keep up with Gwen. I had told her to let, they kind of want to make it look like I neglect everybody, which I don't. But at the same time, it's like, I reach out to them, and they're my family, my cousin, my aunt, Gwen. But, it's like, yeah, they're here in San Antonio. I get along with them, and I'm not that close to them, but I have a lot of memories from my childhood. And yes, they're my family. And I care about both Chip and Gwen. And yes, they're more like a family to me than anybody. Blood relatives, because they're the only people I ever really talk to anymore. I mean, they're not that far away, but we don't see each other that much. But they're my family. And my family on my mom's side. But anyway, so Chip and I had a little conversation. He's funny. He always makes me laugh. He's really funny. Also, I had given him that African chair. He was able to get that thing out. I gave him that chair. He took that away from me here, thank God, because that thing, I was like, I don't want to deal with that thing. I think it's cursed. Just get it. So he took it. I don't have that anymore in this house, which thank God. And yesterday was Martin Luther King Day, by the way, and I didn't even realize that till yesterday, later on in the day. I didn't know it was Martin Luther King Day. I don't celebrate that stuff. So, but anyway, I'm not, but, so it was a holiday, in other words. And, so he comes over with this gift. He's like, gives me some he's like, this is the lingerie that he wanted to give me, some black. This is what okay, look at this. Look at what he gave me that he ordered. It's like a black thing, nightgown thing. And I was like, it's like this little suit thing with panties attached to this thing. I'm like, Lewis, I'm not gonna wear that. I don't wear stuff like that. And he wants to see me in it. He's like, I love to see you in lace. I'm like, I don't really lace. Get it, like lace top wig. I mean, come on. I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know. And he's showing me the envelope that he ordered. It was, sent to him his address, or his parents, where his parents live. And it says, warehouse manager, 25 Keystone Boulevard, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Pottsville, Pennsylvania? Oh my God. Are you serious? Pottsville, Pennsylvania is the address? Look at that. You see? Can you see that? It says Pottsville, Keystone Boulevard, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Anyway, I'm like, okay. So the black lingerie, I'm like, oh, please take it back. I told him, you can take it, give it to someone else, because I really don't think I'm going to wear that. And thank you. It's nice of you to do that. It's thoughtful, but I don't know if I'm going to, it's not really, I mean, I'd have to wear a skirt underneath that. I can't, it's just not really I need something to cover my body. I don't like to expose my body. I'm very modest. I mean, I don't even like to be naked in my own house, in the shower even. That's how modest I am. And then he gives me this jacket, this white jacket that he says he got. I'm like, why all the gifts? Why are they? And then before that, he gave me this bottle of perfume. This kind of fancy bottle of perfume that I have that he gave me. I'm like, what's all the gift giving for? Is this because he feels guilty? This is like the reevaluation stage of the narcissistic cycle. I'm like thinking, what's all this about? It's kind of weird, isn't it? How these people operate, but it's like the same agenda or rule book that they all seem to follow, I guess. I don't know. But then he gives me this jacket, this white jacket that is a brand poetry clothing, made in China, size medium. I mean, it's pretty. It's a very pretty jacket. I like it. But it's a size medium. I'm a size small normally when it comes to jackets. Everything medium fits really loose on me. I like everything in the, like, this is a small. I have a small bone. I'm a small bone person, but I'm not, I'm just kind of average, I guess you'd say. I'm not skinny or petite, but I'm sort of on the petite side, I guess. But clothes tend to fit me sometimes large in this area. I mean, sometimes clothes are too big. They have to be tailored because I tend to wear like a smaller size when it comes to jackets because I'm not big. I'm only 5'2", 5'2.5", almost 5'3". So I'm kind of a smaller statured person, which means I'm smaller bone, delicate bone person. So I was like, it's really pretty, Lewis, but I don't think it's going to fit me. I think I need a small. And I said, maybe you can take it back. And I'm like, oh, God. And then this DoorDash thing in there, 50%. I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's thoughtful. I'm not saying, hey, everybody likes to get gifts. It's sweet. But then it kind of makes you feel bad. It's like, well, what are you going to give them in return, I don't mind getting gifts, but it's kind of weird because it's like it's awkward. It's like, why? Where is all this coming from? Why all of a sudden now? So he gave me those things, and I'm like, you can take them back, or you might want to take them back. I can't take I said, I can't accept your gifts. I try to be nice. I said, but this is what's also fucked up is we were sitting in that room in my area, the vanity area, my office / vanity, and then I have this drink that I usually drink from, my ice in here, in my water, and usually my flavored cool inner little like packets of flavored powder that I put in there, like not Crystal Light, but it's the one I use is Weiler's, usually lemonade, whatever, mostly different flavors of that. And so I'm looking everywhere for my cup later on, and I noticed it as we're sitting there. I saw that he knocked this fucking cup into the bag. He knocked it intentionally. He knocked this cup that was sitting on the table, that he was taking up all this space, acting a little bit rambunctious as he kept touching me. He knocked the cup into the bag, and I'm looking everywhere for the fucking cup again, but I realized what he did, and it didn't even spill in there. The cup was still had stuff in it, some drink, and it didn't spill. It was knocked in there. Okay, and he did that on purpose to gaslight me. Go figure, a white cup, a white jacket, knowing that, So he did that to fuck with me and gaslight me. And then by the time he leaves, yesterday evening around by the time he got here, it's like 7:30 or something, still, early, but the fucking weather, it's supposed to snow and shit like that, and it's all nasty outside. I had ordered something from Amazon, right? And as soon as he's leaving the door, I'm walking him out to the door, locking the door, the Amazon guy shows up. I noticed he was a black guy with little glasses, and he seemed really friendly. And he said something like, and he asked him, how are you staying warm? He said, yeah, I'm trying to. They just little short, small talk. And he's this little black guy with some little, I think he had like round frame glasses on. So he gave me and Lewis brought me my packages that I had ordered. And of course, I'm not going to say what the packages are, but go figure, something to do with it. Oh, but the guy said, here's the thing. Right before he was leaving, he said, let me take a picture. So he said snap, and he took a picture of the items, because usually they'll take a photo of these packages, and half the time I order shit from Amazon, the package either gets fucking stolen, because I'll leave it at weird areas of the house or missing items. All the time this happens with me with Amazon. So, they snap photo. He said, snap. And then Lewis gets the packages from the man and brings them to me, and then he leaves. I'm like, okay, bye. And he's like, call me. And I'm like, okay. See how that was coordinated? Snap, the black guy, MLK Day. The item that I ordered was something for my hair, or something that has to do with that. And I had told Lewis the other day, I was like, why don't you... I made a joke just to get even with him, because he's always fucking with me about my appearance and teasing me about my hair and shit like that. Constantly gaslighting me about that kind of stuff. I said, hey, I heard that Saks is having a sale on men's toupees. And I said that in a message. I'm like, yeah, I heard that Saks is having a sale or clearance on men's toupees. They don't even sell that stuff there. I don't think they'd have toupees or anything like that. But I had to get even. I was like, you know what? And he's like, oh, you're so mean. I said, well, now you see how it feels like to always be fucked with about my appearance and teased and mocked and humiliated day after day by people in public, at the gym. And now you see what it feels like, because you don't have any fucking hair, or you shave your head. Supposedly you don't have, I don't know what his thing is, but he shaves his head like really short. I don't know, because apparently if he lets it grow out, I think it's like really afro-ish, kind of frizzy or something. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe you have some black in you. Maybe you're part black. Whatever, I don't know. Why doesn't he just let it grow out? He keeps it really short, but at the same time, maybe he doesn't have enough hair to grow back. Maybe he's bald in spots, and maybe it grow. I don't know what men do, but a lot of men who are bald or going bald or have hair loss, they'll shave their hair all the time. I'm going to go get a haircut. You notice how they're always getting a haircut or always getting their head shaved. And a lot of the time, that's to camouflage their baldness. Some men can get away with being bald and look fine, but others are not. They're really insecure about it. It just depends, and whatever. But I'm telling you that these men who are bald and insecure, don't fucking take it out on me. If I fucking wear wigs or hair pieces or extensions, big fucking deal. So do a lot of women out there. A lot of women. Lots of men wear toupees. It's not that big of a deal, especially in today's narcissistic society, superficial crap. Okay, I don't need to be mocked or teased because I have fine hair or hair loss issues, which I've had throughout my entire life, genetically speaking. I don't give a fuck if you want to make fun of me because I wear hair pieces or wigs. I do, and I admit it. Me and a lot of women do. Yes, I do. And I proudly admit that I do, and thank God I do, because I love that kind of stuff. So there. That's all I'm going to say now. And then I get a call from my mother, by the way, a text message. Just a message from her. I heard that I've been in Houston for the past 3 days, and I heard it's really cold in San Antonio. I mean, this is all fucking gaslight. And she called exactly when he's showing up at my house as well, by the way.
You have 2 saved
Listen
messages.
to this. Listen.
Saved message.
I called her, but
That's a
Message
friend of
saved. Saved message.
at 6:30.
Message saved. There are no more
Well,
messages.
anyway, that's someone else who, I don't know how but my mother left me a message yesterday. That's a friend of mine who's probably a flying monkey or sent by the narcissist to fucking confuse me. I've never met him, but we talk sometimes. He's a guy. Anyway, that's a friend of mine, a musician. I talk to sometimes. But anyway, my mother calls me saying something like, I have been in Houston for the past 3 days, and I heard it's going to be really freezing in San Antonio. And then she sends me a text message. I guess, are you, by the way, Gwen's got knee surgery. I'm like, no shit. It's like, I know these things. She's still, at 80 years old, is trying to fucking control my life. And it's like, I have no idea if this woman has a will, if I'm in her fucking will, but I suspect that I'm not. I know that she is still trying to get revenge on me and still trying to fucking make me out of this house and homeless, this woman. I tell you, these people never fucking stop once you have blown the fucking cover on their fucking psychological operations. They will fuck with you till they fucking die. Until, I see it, and I have put the fucking pieces together, and I give myself credibility and credit for that. Thank you very much.